Alright guys, it's Dave from Wild Geese Fitness Training. Wearing, here is it? It's a nice unique Chronicle t-shirt. This is where I started, this is where this whole place began. So, thanks Chris and Paul for the t-shirt. Anyway, today's video. Today's video is posture. One of my lads, Shane, was in to me the other lunchtime and he asked me a very sort of general question about posture, and I promised we'd answer it. He got busy, I got busy, he left, and we actually never got around to it, so this is your answer, mate. Your question was, this military posture, is this a good, correct posture? Short answer, no. Slightly longer answer is there's no such thing as one good posture, okay? The only real good posture is one that's always shifting, okay? I remember Eric Creasy, if you look up his work, he said that in one of his articles one day and it just resonated. The only good posture is one that's always shifting, so any static position. So this whole argument at the moment of standing desks being better than sitting desks, sitting is the new smoking, all that basically bullshit. You're still talking about one posture. So I'm standing at a desk, you know, how am I standing? If I'm sitting at a desk, how am I sitting? That's more important than the actual fact of sitting or standing. The ability to move and having several go-to options is the best you're going to get, the best sort of compromise if you like. So what is posture? What should it be? Do you know what? I'm going to bring you to this guy over here. Let's see if we can do this. Right. There he is. Right. So we see these posters kind of everywhere. I'm going to zoom in a wee bit. On this here, you see this line down the middle? Okay. Through his ear, through the shoulder, through the hip, down through the middle of the foot. Okay, that plumb line. All right, and you'll see it on each of the three images. There's a plumb line going all the way through. That's pretty much posture right there. Now that's a drawing, it's a diagram, it's not a real human being. Okay, turn that around again. Make sure I'm in frame. So from the image you get the idea that the ear, the shoulder, the hip and the centre point of the foot all form one straight line. And that's balance, that's what we call stacked up. Alright, and you should be able to stand in that posture comfortably for any length of time. The more you sort of force this kind of stuff to happen, you're adding more tension into the system. Now, problems arise as we sort of live a little longer, we develop more habits. We add into the body habits from training, habits from sitting at a desk, driving the cars, the sports we play, just lifestyle. And I believe it was Gray Cook. If it wasn't, I don't care, because Gray Cook's forever quotable anyway. But it might be Gray Cook who said, do not become your sporting posture. And I'll give you a great example of this. I had a fella in, he was a karate guy, and his hip was off, and we couldn't level his hip. He had great posture aside from this, and he was limping, and he was getting all sorts of back pain and whatever else. So, anytime we're doing sort of postural assessments through the anatomy motion work, one of the things we'd like to do is see if we can get the hips, the pelvis level. Once the skeleton lines up, the muscles hopefully return to optimal length and a lot of tension released from the system. Not always that simple, I wish it was. But this particular character, we struggled. I can't remember which way his hip was, but it was off, and nothing would sink in. And out of interest, I said to him, slide your right foot back. And when he slid back, he went boom! And he settled with these perfectly level hips in a perfect karate stance. And he'd essentially become his karate posture. I see it a lot with the Thai boxers, but they being very much sort of left leg light, weighted into the right leg, fast kick, power kick. And then when they're sort of standing, we see that the left leg is always light, and they walk very much on the right leg. Thai boxers the whole time. The BJJ guys, we often see this kind of happen because just the nature of the grappling. Interesting one was an old hockey player I knew who would run with his right hand high, and he'd run this way because that's how he held his stick. So you're sporting, what you do in your sport and your training, what you train to do, can overwrite the original human being program. And that's not good, alright? I personally grew up through karate and various other martial arts before I went into mountain biking and mountain sports, various other bits and pieces. And I can trace back a lot of my non-injury pains and aches to karate-based postural problems. And I've done the same thing with other people from other sports. Once we review what they prioritise in their life, which is very often the sporting activities, not their work-life activity, if we can unwind that, sort of undo that, we do that through a combination of training, therapy, stretching, mobility, anatomy, motion. We find that posture finds its own way back. There's no optimal posture. There's a guideline, and that's that plumb line we talked about a minute ago. But if you're walking around and you're here, and this is your sort of day-to-day posture, okay, this carries with it certain issues, and you might be perfectly fine with it. This may never give you a problem. But if you think that this is bad and this is good, and you try and force yourself there, all you're doing is adding tension to an already tense system. Okay? Your body's carrying a tension, an amount of tension in it. All right? If you're here, these tissues are short, these tissues at the back are long. Like I said, that may or may not be a problem. Okay, there's plenty of evidence to show that postural assessment or a person's postural presentation does not correlate to an injury risk. There's lots of evidence to suggest that. I'm not quite sure I'm on board with it, but there's a lot of evidence to suggest that. So if you're here, that's fine. If you try and crank yourself here, you're now going to start having problems. Because now these tissues that are artificially lengthened, they're being held open by tension through the back. So now you've got two sets of muscles hopefully working. The guys that are usually short are going, oh shit, we're not sure about this. And the guys at the back are going, okay, oh, this is how I work, and hang on for dear life. So then you add more load into that, i.e. you do something, you move, you throw, you catch, you punch, you kick, whatever it is you're going to do, something goes pop, all right? Same thing can happen, if you're a little bit this and you think, no, I'll force them out, we end up walking on the edge of the feet. Can you see my feet from there? Yeah? We see a lot of guys from here, or maybe here, and they think it's not right, their feet are out, their knees are in, so they crank it, and all we end up doing is just adding tension in. Certain muscles start to overload, other muscles will go to sleep, so on and so forth, and we end up with issues. So when it comes to posture, Shay, don't sweat it too much, okay? Get a picture of yourself. This is my advice for anybody who's worried about the posture. Set up a camera on a wee tripod, as mine is at the moment. Side view, front view, other side view. Like a bloody prison, you've been arrested. Stick assignment numbers ready there. Alrighty. It's often nice to get a rear view as well, because you can actually see the curve in the spine. Do that, have a look at yourself. You'll see your waistband. If you pull your waistband down so it's actually on the hips, okay, and you'll see, is it here? Is it sloping that way into what you call an anterior pelvic tilt? Yeah? Think of a bucket of water. Water pours out the front, that's anterior pelvic tilt. Yeah? Is it going this way a little bit? Am I stuck in a posterior pelvic tilt? Alright. What do you see through the spine? Am I sort of sitting here? Am I here? Am I there? When you look to the front, you know, is that happening? Is one side higher than the other? Just looking at the waistband. Has it shifted? Has the height dropped? Is there a twist here? Or my shoulders? My shoulders the same height? Is the head over to one side? Do you know what I mean? It's useful to do that just so you can see your own posture and become aware of it. And then you start feeling for where tightnesses are. Alright? And then really, if you're bent out of shape, that's when you go and see a professional. You come see me, you go on to a physio, plenty we can recommend to you. But posture, there's no one good posture. The best posture is one that's always shifting. You cannot force your body into accepting a new posture. You cannot. You will just hurt yourself. Right? Especially further down the line you get, the longer you've held that posture, the more involved you are in that sporting, that physical activity, the deeper that posture gets set in. But you can train it out. Okay? A lot of the training we do here with athletes, we do a lot of work to, we'll say, unwind the sport, to sort of every sport will develop compensation, every athlete will develop compensations specific to the sport. So a lot of the training we do here is to to sort of rebalance that. So if guys are heavy on a push because of the nature of the sport, then we will do a lot of pulling. If guys are heavy on a pull because of the nature of the sport, or a flex position, then we'll do a lot of extension work. Do you know what I mean? Again, not that simple. But when it comes to posture, no such thing as good posture. The more options you have, so if you do work at a desk, which to be honest, most people do, sit, stand, kneel, squat, sit on the floor, sit on the desk, sit on the chair, sit this way, sit that way, just fucking move. And the best advice really is to set a buzzer to go off, pretend you're a smoker, just get up, have a little wander about, come back, carry on. Alrighty? Set a buzzer to go off every 20-30 minutes. Alright? You might notice productivity increases, you might notice your body feels better for it because you've got up and you've moved. Alrighty? Shay, hope that answers your question, mate. If anybody else has questions, by all means get in touch, I'd love to hear them. This is Dave from Margie's Fitness Training. Thanks for watching.